Last time in Unit 2, we looked at how different natural processes produce the different earth resources that are very important to our civilization and way of life. We saw that one of the main driving mechanisms is the rock cycle, which is also being driven by plate tectonics. We saw that the different rocks have different uses, and the three main rock types that we have in the rock cycle are produced as a result of different geologic processes. For example, to have oil and gas deposits, we need sedimentary rocks in which the oil and gas can be stored. And some of the sediments that are produced as a result of mechanical weathering, which usually weathers all different types of rocks, produce the aggregates that are used, for example, sand, for road construction and for buildings. This week, we are going to be looking at the exploration, exploitation, and processing of natural resources. Throughout human civilization, we've had major breakthroughs when we figure out how to transform the natural resources from their natural state to a state that best suits our needs. In most cases, the geologists are those that are equipped and trained with the skills and the ability to determine where natural resources occur. That is the first step of the process. You have to understand how these natural resources formed. In so doing, you know where they are found. The next step of the process is how to exploit these natural resources. For any deposit to be exploited, it has to be economically beneficial. Economics drives everything. There is no point opening up a quarry to quarry rocks when you have alternative materials that you can use, or to quarry rocks and try to sell them at a price that the market cannot support. So let's assume that the economic conditions are right. You then move to extracting these materials. We call this process mining. There are different ways of extracting natural materials. Some of the mines can be open cast mining or underground mines. Either way, the materials are mined, and when they are mined, we cannot use them just the way they are. The only materials that can be used in their natural state are mostly materials like aggregates. Even some of the rocks that we mine, we have to crush them into the sizes that we want. And at times, even when sand is extracted, it has to be processed somehow. It has to be sorted, depending upon the use. If the sand is going to be used to manufacture glass, you have to take out impurities. You have to take out some impurities from the sand. When your ores are mined, can be iron ore, can be bauxite, or tin, or platinum, or lithium. Any ore that is mined has to be processed. And this processing is separating the other materials that are associated with your ore that you are not interested in. It's going to involve processes like smelting, electrolysis in the case of aluminum. When these materials are processed, they are ready to be transformed into different uses. Materials like oil and gas, when the crude oil is extracted, it has to go through a process of distillation, where the crude oil is heated and the different components in it are distilled at different temperatures. So all the other branches in the industrialization process depend upon the geologists to determine where the natural materials occur and determine if it is economically feasible for them to be extracted. When these materials are extracted, they are processed and transformed so that they can be used to manufacture different products that have made our lives comfortable. So in this unit, we are going to be looking at all the different processes that are involved in extracting these materials, transforming them, and making them available for use. As I've said, any questions that you have, any difficulties that you are facing, you have my contact information. Reach out to me as soon as possible.